Oh, wow. Wow. What does she teach?
She teaches piano, and she did teach choral director, but now she teaches piano specifically.
Okay, classical, is it?
It is classical, yes. She
Yeah.
she
I
doesn't
studied
teach.
classical piano.
You do?
I did. I
Oh,
just,
Who's your favorite composer?
oh, you know what? I love Chopin. I love his piano pieces. I just love
Oh,
them.
yeah. Michael, do you like piano?
I like classic music, but I'm what you call a modern hippie. I like a lot of classic rock.
You can't go wrong with classic rock. I love
No,
classic rock.
Yeah,
no.
grew up, Amy. I grew up with hippies. Actually, my mother was, grew up in the late '50s, early '60s, and she got into the Janis Joplin,
Mm.
and the classic rock from from the UK and everything else when that became very popular in the States back then. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. So Amy, we're gonna kick it off here. I'm gonna introduce the listeners to you.
Savaged, unfiltered.
Show today. Welcome to Savage Unfiltered with Michael Gardner. The co-host today joining us is Sauce Timison. Always a privilege and an honor having you on the show, Sauce.
Hey,
Sauce, today, yeah, buddy. Yeah,
hey.
you're fired up. I know I'm fired up.
Oh no, you know why I'm fired up? It's because we have a very special guest. Her name is Amy Sinha from all the way across the pond to Wales, which is about 6.5 hours away from here. And she
Yeah,
is
you're a
here to
little
talk
fired
about
up. Yeah.
what's that?
I said you're fired up, but I'm going to kick us off
Yes.
here because yeah, you're ready to start it, guys. This is Amy Sinha joining us from Wales, United Kingdom. Now, folks, Amy is a British Asian vocalist, a songwriter, and a voiceover, as well as an entrepreneur. Welcome to the show, Amy. How are you doing, ma'am?
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. How are you guys?
Doing pretty good.
Good to hear.
So
All right. All right, Amy. I had a question here. I wanted to get into some of your passions here. I noticed that you're an entrepreneur as well as a vocalist,
Hmm.
and you're a songwriter as well too. Just what made you go to that point of that passion? What led you to that passion? Was it early roots in childhood, or was it just something that was developed over time?
The music, yeah, absolutely. It was right from when I was young. I have a musical family, so we're all singing like every time we had car journeys, and yeah, I just started really young, and I just remember music always being in the family. We used to have, I don't know, okay, showing my age right now. We used to have like LPs, the record player, and just buy different LPs and different. And because I have two older sisters, so I used to listen to different types of music. Like they were into rock. I know you were just saying earlier that how much you love classic rock, so they were into rock, and it kind of got me into that as well as jazz and like pop music and R&B, and yeah, just I just remember it. I just remember all different types of music growing up.
Yeah, tremendous. Sash, you could join us in the conversation, buddy. You don't have to be shy.
oh no, you're good. Hey, so I think we also talked about this in the green room as well. Who's your favorite composer that you would have to like your top three composers? Who are there?
It would have to be Chopin, Beethoven, and Tchaikovsky.
Tchaikovsky. And where did you go to school for? Did you go to school for music or?
I did. I went to music college. It was Leeds College of Music, which is up north. Those of you who don't know, it's in England. But it was at the time, it was one of the best colleges to study jazz, and it was an amazing experience.
Wow, that's cool. Now, and what made you start writing a book? Like, what made you start being an author? Were you always an author? Did you always want to write, or did you always want to like do music? Which one came first?
So I haven't written a book,
Not
but
yet.
no, I've written songs.
Oh, okay.
Not quite a book yet.
When did you start writing songs?
So I started writing songs, gosh, about 10 years ago. I actually used to write poetry, when I was younger, and I think it started from there. I used to love rhyming, rhyming poetry, and I think the maybe the songs came from that, because I guess songs have to rhyme, otherwise it doesn't really quite work.
Yeah, almost sounds like a like jingles. Yeah, have you ever got into that type of concept? You know, jingles. I don't know if
Yeah,
you're familiar with
yeah,
that term.
yeah. No, I haven't. I haven't done any jingles.
Okay. Okay. Amy, I want to get into some of your songs here. I noticed that you're a songwriter, which is phenomenal. I love songs, and I love talking to people that have multiple different types of passions, such as yourself. You know, you're into books, you're into film, you're into religion. I noticed there's a little slight politics involved. I think everybody has some type of political, passion, whatever it is. But I want to get into some of your albums. I noticed that you had debuted in an album back in 2012 called "A Sin with a is that a look or
A
with
sin with
love?
love. A sin with love.
Love, right? Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
yeah.
Is
Yeah,
there
you
So
want to get into that?
oh, what's the meaning behind that album?
okay, so I don't know if you kind of noticed the title, "A Sin with Love." So it's kind of play on my name. So Amy Sinha, and so with love, and that actually came about because I used to go to jazz bars a lot, and um, this bartender thought that he would kind of name a cocktail after me. So he said, "A
Oh,
sin so sweet." So it kind of came from that. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of good for an album. But yeah, so those songs are kind of I used to be into Facebook a lot. This was back in the day. I think it just started out, and I was kind of obsessed. And I was kind of updating my status probably about 4 or 5 times a day, which now I barely do it once a week. Um,
wow.
so they were just like thoughts from my head that I would write on Facebook. And I guess if you go through the songs, they're kind of unique. Probably not everyone's cup of tea, but they were just like thoughts from my head, and thought that like literally that's how the song titles came about. And yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This album that you came out with, Amy, "A Sin with Love." Sas, if you're not familiar with this, this actually had a New York label on it,
No
which
way.
I
What?
was very
No,
intrigued.
no, it didn't. No, that
Oh,
was the
it
next
did?
single that I put out.
Oh, what was
Oh,
the next single?
That was the
oh,
next single. So, but you're kind of close. But what happened was when I put that
I'm so
album out,
sorry, Amy. I got him confused there. Sorry about that.
no, it's fine, it's fine. Well, so when that album came out, it kind of because I had it out on the internet. So this guy called Ronald Lashley, who was a musician, he was based in New York, and he started a record label, and he actually then we collaborated on a few singles. Yeah, so that's how that happened.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
What's your so back to poetry? What was your favorite poetry that you wrote, and why is it your favorite? And does it have a certain meaning to you?
Oh gosh.
You're putting Amy on the spot there, Sauce.
I know.
You are. No, it's good. Well, I think the thing with my poetry, what happened was, so I kind of used to give myself a challenge. So I used to come up with a theme, and then I used to write poetry based on the theme. So just to prove that I could write
Yeah.
poetry, I did actually had this really quirky poem. Actually, no, I did come up with it was one based on my experience. So I was going out with a lot of guys I met from the jazz clubs, and doesn't really make me sound very good, I know. But there was this one guy that I was going out with, and I had a poem based on him, and I decided recently just to say it in an American accent, and I think it went down really well actually, because he wasn't American, don't get me wrong, but I thought it sounded really cool.
Amy, what stays at a jazz club stays at a jazz club. Or let me rephrase that in American terminology. What happens at a jazz club stays at a jazz club, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
lot of Americans that I've met over the years. So, yeah.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay.
So okay, so before we continue on to the other subjects and stuff, who is your favorite poet and how did they influence you?
My favorite poet. Okay, can I be honest?
Well,
I'm not
yes.
okay. I'm not really into poetry that much. So, like you'd think, like Keats and Shelley and kind of like your original poetry. I
Yeah.
mean, I had to study them in school, but I wasn't really a poetry type person. I like my kind of poem.
Yeah.
The poems that I come out with, they're kind of like that. But I mean, I used to go to poetry events, but I'm not really into poems. More like poems that turned into music. And
Yeah.
Hey guys, if you're looking for a steak, I know it's hard to find steak, right? A lot of restaurants that just overcooked, undercooked, just not to your taste buds, right? You want that juicy steak. Look no further than Omaha Steak. I love them, guys. Love them. If I didn't love them, why wouldn't I be promoting them on the podcast today? Go over to Omaha Steaks, okay? They are phenomenal, guys. The juiciest steak you'll ever taste in your life. Okay. A lot of people are like, well, how does it get delivered to your house? With gnats and bugs going to get into it. And no. It's not, you don't have to worry about all that. It is in a sealed, perishable bag delivered to your house. So you don't have to worry about the gnats and the bugs get into it. It's fresh from the time they ship it from their distribution center to the time it arrives at your house. The juiciest steak you'll ever have in your life, guys. Check them out today. Omaha Steaks. Love them. They're phenomenal.
Unfiltered.
And do they do commercials, or can you explain on that?
yeah, well, they do kind of everything. So what you just said, they do commercials. They do like animation. So I've done animation. I do kids' voices. So I have to play like an 8-year-old girl or like a 3 or 4-year-old child. Like corporate. So you get those videos that they play in those corporate meetings. I think I did something for Kellogg corporate explainer videos. So, and I've also done videos for explainer videos. So, you put on your website explaining what your business actually does. So, and voicemail, I've done international voicemail for actually a few American companies. So voiceovers do everything you wouldn't think that they do, that you wouldn't like. I don't know if I know you guys got Master Chef USA over there. So
Yes.
the voiceovers, like the narration. Sorry?
Yeah, I'm saying you have worked with MasterChef?
If you hear the narration that they do over that, so that's a voiceover.
Oh, yeah, I get the concept. So, with this voiceover, passion that you subtly developed, through the pandemic and everything, did you ever think in your wildest dreams, Amy, that it would lead to this voiceover, or was more of, your songwriting and your books more of your passion?
Yeah, no, I never thought it was. I never thought I'd get such a good response. And I think if the pandemic hadn't happened, I don't think I would have had that response. And I think just reaching out to different countries like America, where they really appreciate the British accent. So thank you all so much.
Oh,
yeah, you're very welcome. You have a lot of people that love British accent, and especially if you have an Apple product. I have a British accent on my Apple product. When you say, "Hey Siri." Yeah, so I have a British accent. So I'm a person that loves British accent because there's something in it that like a lot of people like, and we want to say thank you on your behalf of America, right, Michael?
Yeah. I mean, I could say the same thing, Amy. We, on my GPS on my car, I have the Siri, but it's all in British. It's
No way, really?
Yeah.
Turn left on the quarter. Like I love that accent. I'm sorry at your bad impersonation, but I don't know. It's the accent, and especially I live in the Sunshine State here of Florida, and we're actually in our tourist season right now. And we're just so grateful for our British visitors and tourists that are coming in, especially in our theme parks, Disney and Universal and stuff. And it's tremendous seeing the different backgrounds, whether they're from Wales, in other parts of the country, United Kingdom, England, Ireland, all over the place. And it's just remarkable some of the background that you see coming in.
Do you get a lot of Welsh people there?
Welsh, I happen to, believe it or not, Amy, I happen to run into a gentleman from Wales, actually, that was Welsh. Yes.
Wow.
Believe it or not, last week in Starbucks, and he's never been to Starbucks ever before in his life. And he's looking at me, and, obviously his English was a little broken. I could understand a little bit of him, what he was saying, but he was trying to come up to me and saying, what is a grande? And I said, well, that's the sizes they use here at Starbucks. And he didn't know what a grande was, because the lady was asking him what size, you want for your coffee. And he was just like blown away. He didn't understand that, the terminology.
Did you find out which part of Wales? Because we have Starbucks here. So which part of Wales he actually lives in?
I don't know. Like, I don't know what part. I mean, this conversation was only like less than a minute. He was just asking, for just guidance and stuff like that. So he could have been from the north or the south, or I didn't really get to talk to him that long.
So, Amy, quick question. So is Newell's, Newell? Is that a very common name in Wales?
What?
Newell's. So the only reason why I ask is because I was adopted from Russia the first time, and I was adopted to a family from England, and and so they had their last name as Newell, Newell, and last time I checked,
Newell.
Newell. Is that a common name in Wales? Last name?
No, it's not. Newell, no.
Because they were. The only reason I ask is because Steve he said that he lived in Wales, England, and he ended up
unfiltered.
So you're just gonna outweigh them.
Yeah. So before we can, so what was it like during COVID? Like, what was the government like during COVID? Because you guys have when I read in the news and stuff, Britain had very strict guidelines, and they had really tighter than America's and stuff. What was it like?
Yeah, it wasn't very good. As in, we were really strict. You couldn't go out for, was it 3 months, only for an hour. Very hard. But I think it was necessary to bring the death toll down. I mean, I know a lot of people don't believe in COVID and think it was just a government plot to keep us under control. But the fact that so many people died and I think just proves that it actually was real. And the fact the vaccine actually helped us get back to normal. I mean, it still hasn't disappeared anywhere. I mean, COVID, I know it's still with you guys in America. It's still spreading. So, I mean, I think we needed to go through what happened, but a lot of good things happened because, it made things like this, where international will become smaller because of this whole networking online, and, made things easier. I know you didn't really ask me that, but I think there's a lot of good things that happened during COVID. But obviously a lot of people died, and during COVID, I did turn a certain age.
Different people and talking to different people and everything. And, on this show, Amy, we get some of the, the best, in podcasting and, talk radio and, just about everything. I mean, I've had just about everything on my show, whether they're comedians, voiceovers such as yourself, young and, regular. I mean, just about everybody. So, as we close it out here, Amy, is there anything else you want to tell the listeners, where they can possibly find some of your work, some of your albums?
Yeah. Oh, well, you just have to type my name in, Amy Sinha, Sinha, into like Spotify or iTunes, and everything. All the music that I've done will come up. Just find me online, Amy Sinha Voice. Literally on every social media that you can think of, I think, unless there's other social media that I don't know. I'm not on Snapchat, I have to be honest, but I think everything apart from that.
Close it out here. It's been a true honor having you on to today's show. And
Thank you so much.
Yeah. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, Amy. Thanks a lot.